Good evening, class, and happy week 6. Jumping right into the discussion post here. So the first question asks, when you write, how consciously do you consider your audience? And I would say that I consider my audience consciously. I think about what it is or who it is that I'm writing to as I'm writing. I think about what I want to write, like, all the time. I think about it when I'm in the shower, or when I'm eating food, or when I'm even just playing around on my phone. Like, I'll be thinking about it, and I'll even, like, have notes going in my phone, so that way I can really reflect on it before I start writing. And that's how I think I consciously consider my audience, is by just continuously thinking about what it is that I'm writing, and I reread it with fresh eyes in order to be able to make sure that it is coming across the way that I want it to. So an example of a piece of writing where the intended audience played a crucial role in how I approached the content. So for this, an example of a piece of writing. So I did a writing piece recently. Let's see, where is it? Honestly, I did one for this class, where I've consciously thought about the audience. Specifically, what I am thinking of right now is the inanimate object writing that we did earlier this term. And I think for that one we were requested to think about the audience, which really encouraged me to keep the audience in mind, not only for the grade, but also for the reality of the fact that there are people that are going to be reading this that aren't me, and I have to think about, who it is that's reading this, beyond myself, which was really cool. I thought about how it could be read by our professor, Dr. Dawn Anderson, or how it could be read by others, like if it were to get published. So I try to really keep my writing consciously centered on my audience, because I hope that one day my work will be published. I write to the best of my ability, so I hope that one day my work will be published. So the purpose of my writing in that example, and how did knowing my audience influence my tone, style, and word choice? So knowing my audience allowed me to choose phrases that I felt like are inspiring to me, and accurate to the discussion that I was having. Not really discussion, I guess the essay, answering the essay question, right? Since it was about an inanimate object, it was, I had to explain the importance of it, why it was important, what happened that made it so important, and yeah, I put in a lot of like little bits, like talking about how, so I talked about a porcelain doll that I have. It's a porcelain doll that my great-grandmother gave me, and it was it was a really special thing in my life, and it fell and cracked, and it taught me about grief and about change and just about how emotions change over time, which was a really important life experience for me to have. But what impact do I think that this consideration of the audience had on the effectiveness of my writing? I think that the consideration of my audience was definitely impacted the effectiveness of my writing, because I was able to really like hone in on what it was that I thought that was being wanted to read. And did the author... Oh, how does the concept of considering the audience relate to my reflections on this week's readings and videos? So this week's readings and videos were a lot about revising and about audience specifically. So I thought that it was really interesting. I really love the videos, the lecture videos that we watch every week. Those are really helpful to me, and I really enjoy hearing the woman's story. I can't remember her name right now, sorry. My daughter's crying. But yeah, I think that the author of the reading, I think that they did have a specific audience in mind, and that audience is students learning about college and professional writing, and that shapes the way they presented their ideas through the formatting is one huge thing I noticed, specifically in the book, The Simple Math of Writing Well. The formatting of that book is definitely student-centered. A lot of the quotes in it are from people that are in like teaching positions, and I found that really cool because of the fact that we're all students and having, you know, professors be quoted in a book is something that I don't think that happens a lot of times. So yeah, it's really cool to me. But yeah, that is all the answers to all the questions, and thank you. I hope we have a great week 6, everyone.